Live to Queen's Park now, where Municipal Affairs Minister Paul Calandra is announcing an infrastructure deal with the federal government. Let's see if he talks about Toronto. Let's listen in live.
Team Ontario was really focused on with the federal government. It might have taken us a touch longer to get there, but again, thank Minister Fraser as well, understanding Ontario's focus, and then again the Team Ontario approach working together.
What's changed?
Sorry, go ahead.
Are they giving you any indication that they're willing to give you that funding without the fourplex policy in place?
Yes, yep, absolutely.
So you don't have to build. You agree to the fourplexes, which you used to care about, now you don't care about. But
yeah, no. Look, this agreement here specific is to this Canada, the CCBF, Canada Community Building Fund, and for us in these the next number of years, it's roads, bridges, and that type of infrastructure. That was really the focus of this fund in previous years. We want to remain focused on that. They've agreed to allow us to continue that focus, and look, really happy.
Is that agreement written verbal?
Correct. Yes. No. There will be a written agreement.
So how much? Okay. How much is Ontario? Okay, that's $4.7 billion for Ontario over 5 years. How much is Ontario's equivalent kind of matching fund for that infrastructure? You guys have announced some.
Yeah, we have a separate stream of well over $3 billion on infrastructure for housing enabling infrastructure. $1 billion for roads, sewers, and bridges as well. The totality of the gas tax, or the CCBF, is over $10 billion over 10 years. So it's really complementary. It's one of the reasons why I want to make sure that we remain focused in the initial phases of this agreement on the exact same priorities that we have to help unleash building across the province of Ontario. And as I said, Minister Fraser understood that. We came to an agreement. City of Toronto, who joined us at the table, AMO, and again, and Mayor Sutcliffe in Ottawa, who also was very helpful in helping us reach this agreement. So
what changed, though? It's a few weeks ago that you were fighting back with letters, and then you reached a deal on the $357 million for affordable housing. But what's changed? Is it a tone change, or is it that the federal Liberals are realizing that they've got an election to fight next year?
Look, I would say for us, we've always had the door open. Minister Fraser and myself. I was in Ottawa a couple of weeks ago. We had dinner together and explained the Team Ontario approach, the importance of it. I explained how important it was for us to focus on infrastructure, and he was able to agree with us that that's where that he would support that. And look, as I said, on the National Housing Strategy, he made some good points with respect to how we, the data that we use to provide them, confirming data, and I've agreed to that on the National Housing Strategy, and similar on the CCBF funding going forward. We've got to do better on how we account for the money that we're spending, and that's something that was important to Minister Fraser, and we'll continue that through this fund.
Minister, is the amount, though, it's just what we expected from the gas tax formula that existed for many years?
Yeah, no, it is. The amount, no, it's not more. It is part of that. It's the structure and where the focus will be. And as I said, for us, it was really important that the focus over the next number of years be on that hard infrastructure, roads, bridges, and
transit as well.
And yes, and those areas that help us build communities, and complementary to the infrastructure funding that we've announced as well.
Speaking of transit, are you ready with back to work legislation if the TTC goes in straight? What is the government's plan for that?
Yeah, no, look, I like all of you, I've been listening to the TTC chair over the last number of days, and he seems very confident that they'll come to an agreement, and I trust what the chair is saying, and hopefully they will.
So, but famous last words being the operative Murphy's Law, whatnot. Yeah. What's the plan B here if there is a strike?
Look, this is City of Toronto is bargaining, and I'm hopeful that they'll come to an agreement.
But you must be ready to call MPPs back over the weekend if there's a strike, just as happened in 2008, and get Toronto back moving again.
Yeah, look, no, I like all of you, I'm listening to what the chair of the TTC has been saying. He seems very optimistic that they'll come to an agreement. So I'm until I hear otherwise, I'm going to listen to his words and hope that they come to an agreement. There's a lot of things happening in the city over the next month. It's Pride Month. There's a lot going on, and I suspect both sides are are weighing that, and hopefully they'll come to an agreement.
Minister, the development industry has often pointed to high interest rates as one of the stumbling blocks for building. With this interest rate cut, it's not going to make a huge difference, but do you expect it to make a difference when it comes to home building?
Yeah, no, I do. Obviously, this is something the Premier has been beating on for months, and this is something that we heard constantly over the last number of weeks. High interest rates and the speed at which they went up were causing a lot of builders to think twice about getting, not only getting shovels in the ground, because the affordability of the homes that they would build might be a challenge, but more importantly, getting that financing that they need to get the shovels in the ground. When the interest rates stopped climbing, there was some optimism, and I'm very relieved. I don't want to overstate it, but I'm very relieved that we've got this 25 basis point cut, and it seems that the trend will be to lower rates. I think this will help unleash a lot of activity that has been waiting on the sidelines, not only on home builders, but just on people, their ability to afford and get into the market, which is also so very, very important. So I was very, very excited by this.
Do you think this is enough, though, to spur it? Is this enough to spur it, or does it need to come down even further, and over what period of time do you think, in order to really kickstart it?
Yeah, as I said, what we're seeing is that once the rates stopped climbing, that people were starting to get encouraged. A reduction in the rates will absolutely get people back, will get some back in. The bias towards continuing to lower the rates is also very, very encouraging. So I think you will start to see some of those home builders that were on the sideline getting back in. Look, I don't want to overstate it, but I was very, very relieved today that we saw both the cut and the bias towards reducing. It's not even just for the home builders. I just look at my own community. So many on variable mortgages over the last number of years. So just the relief that they have, that the era of rapid increases is over, and that they might see a little bit of relief on their bill. Even a reduction in a mortgage payment of $100-$150, whatever it is for a family, it makes a huge difference. So when you look at what CMHC had reported on the increase in interest rates, I think late last year, this was going to cost families $15 billion, and they made it clear, even CMHC, that one of the options would have to be that people would consider selling their properties because of interest rate increases. It was a really, really hard report to read. So this is a relief for a lot of people, helps get more shovels in the ground, and allows people to get in the market. More importantly, it starts to make life more affordable for those who have variable rate mortgages.
On the house rising early tomorrow, what's the decision behind that, on the house rising earlier tomorrow?
Yeah, look, we have a bill that we're finishing off today with consent of the opposition, so let me thank them for that. It's a bill, notice of security interest, which is something that has been top of mind.
Listening to Municipal Affairs Minister Paul Calandra announcing an infrastructure deal with the federal government this hour. We are now able to tell you the federal government handing out $4.7 billion for Ontario over 5 years. The minister confirming the province will be granted this money even without a fourplex policy in place. He was also asked about the potential TTC strike that everybody in Toronto is watching for. To that, he says he's hopeful the two sides will come to an agreement before the deadline.